Chosen one. You were told to watch this alone for a reason. Chosen one. Stop everything right now. Stop scrolling. Stop multitasking. Stop dividing your attention between this and anything else. If you are around people, this is not for them. If there is noise in the background, make it quiet. If your mind is already jumping ahead to what comes next, put that aside because something just interrupted your entire day, and it is not something that can be understood in pieces. This message was never meant to be background sound. It was meant to be received in silence, in stillness, with nothing else competing for your attention. And if you cannot give it that right now, save it and come back later, because what is being said requires your full presence, not half of it. Take a breath. A real one. Notice how your chest feels more tight than usual. Notice how your thoughts have been louder than normal. Notice how your spirit has felt crowded even when you are alone. That is not random. That is not just stress. That is spiritual movement. And you were brought here away from everything and everyone, so you could understand what is actually happening and why you are being asked to remain still for a little longer. Let me begin here. The reason you were told to watch this alone is because what is about to be revealed cannot survive being mixed with other people's opinions, reactions, or energy. Some truths are so personal, so perfectly timed, so directly assigned to you, that if anyone else is in the space, it weakens the impact. This is one of those moments. This is one of those messages. This is one of those divine interruptions that only makes sense to the person it is meant for. Others would just hear words, but you are about to receive confirmation. You have been feeling alone lately, haven't you? Not just physically alone, but emotionally distant, spiritually separated, like you are in rooms full of people, but still not connected to anyone. Like conversations happen around you, but nothing really reaches you. Like you are there in body, but somewhere else in spirit. And you have been questioning what is wrong with you. You have wondered if you are isolating yourself, if you are becoming distant, if you are pushing people away. But chosen one, what if none of that is true? What if this is not isolation at all, but insulation? What if God has been wrapping you in protection without you fully realizing it? Pulling you away from noise, from drama, from opinions, from expectations, even from voices that would interrupt what He is building in you right now. Because you are in formation, you are being reshaped, you are being recalibrated, you are being elevated at a depth that cannot happen in public. It cannot happen in constant conversation. It cannot happen while you are explaining yourself to people who would not understand, even if you tried. So God reduced the noise. He cleared the space. He removed distractions not to punish you with loneliness, but to protect you during transformation. Now, let me explain why this protection became necessary. Someone has been testing you, maybe more than one person, not loudly, not openly, but in subtle ways. They have been saying things that touch old wounds. They bring up topics that they know affect you. They ask questions that look innocent but feel heavy. They make comments that seem small but leave something uncomfortable in your spirit. And the hardest part is you cannot fully point at it because nothing obvious happened. But your spirit knows. Your discernment notices what your logic cannot prove, and you have been feeling uneasy about things you cannot easily explain. But chosen one, that feeling is not wrong. Just because someone smiles while doing something does not mean the action is harmless. Just because words are soft does not mean the intention is soft. Just because someone acts caring does not mean they are not observing your reactions, your boundaries, your emotions, your responses. And God saw it. God felt it, and God said, "Enough." That is why you were pulled away. That is why you were separated. That is why you are being asked to stay quiet a little longer. Because if you respond too quickly, if you defend too soon, if you explain too much, you may open access to people who no longer belong in your next level. Not everyone who walked with you before is meant to walk with you ahead. Not everyone who saw your past is meant to see your future. Not everyone who knew your old self is meant to know your new one. And that is not punishment. That is wisdom. That is protection. Because the version of you that is forming now cannot live in the same space as people who only understand who you used to be. You have probably noticed something shifting in you too. Things you once tolerated now feel uncomfortable. Conversations that once felt normal now feel draining. People you once enjoyed now feel heavy to be around. Environments that once felt fine now feel tight, even suffocating. And you may be asking yourself if you are becoming too sensitive or distant. But what if you are not becoming worse? What if you are becoming more aligned? What if your spirit is simply outgrowing what used to feel normal? What if God adjusted your internal sensitivity so you can no longer tolerate what was never meant for your future? Here is what is really happening. You are being taught a new way of living, a new language, the language of discernment, the language of silence, the language of boundaries without explanation, the language of walking away without needing closure, the language of trusting what you sense even when you cannot fully prove it. And this kind of growth does not happen in noise. It does not happen in crowds. It does not happen while defending yourself to people who question your change. It happens in stillness, in separation, in quiet, in that uncomfortable space between who you were and who you are becoming. And that is exactly where you are right now. You are in transition, not fully who you were, not fully who you are becoming, in between. And that in-between space feels unstable because everything is shifting, but it is also sacred. It is where real transformation happens. The enemy sees this too. He recognizes that you are changing. He knows you are being repositioned, and he cannot stop what is already set in motion for you. So he tries to distract you, to provoke you, to pull you into reaction, to get you to speak when you were told to stay still. Because if he can get you to react emotionally, he can delay your clarity. Not destroy your future, but delay your alignment. And that is why silence has become so important for you right now. Your silence is not weakness, it is protection. Every time you choose not to react, you avoid a trap. Every time you choose not to explain, you save energy. Every time you stay still instead of engaging, you preserve your alignment. And yes, there is guilt sometimes. Guilt for pulling away. Guilt for not being as available. Guilt for not explaining yourself. Guilt for choosing peace over people's expectations. But chosen one, hear this clearly. Boundaries are not betrayal. Distance is not rejection. Silence is not cruelty. And protecting your growth is not selfishness. You are not responsible for making others comfortable with your obedience. You are not responsible for shrinking so others do not feel uncomfortable. You are not responsible for explaining spiritual growth to people who are still operating from old understanding. Your responsibility is alignment. Your responsibility is obedience. Your responsibility is protection of what is being built inside you. And very soon, clarity is coming. What was hidden will become visible. What was unclear will become obvious. Intentions you could not prove will be revealed. You will understand why certain things felt off, not because you fought for it, but because truth naturally surfaces. And when that happens, you will also understand why you were told to stay silent. Because if you had spoken too soon, others could have twisted your words, shifted narratives, or slowed your breakthrough. But because you stayed still, you allowed God to handle it. And when God handles something, no confusion remains. This is not about revenge. This is about clarity. This is not about exposing people to harm them. It is about revealing truth so you can move correctly, so you can choose correctly, so you can step forward without confusion. And right now, your assignment is simple. Stay still, stay quiet, stay aligned. Do not force conversations. Do not rush explanations. Do not react emotionally. Trust that what you cannot see is already being worked on. Because while you are waiting, you are not idle. You are being strengthened. Your discernment is sharpening. Your emotional strength is stabilizing. Your boundaries are becoming firm. Your identity is becoming clearer. And when you come out of this season, you will not recognize how much you have changed. Not because you tried to change, but because God formed you in silence. And when your season shifts, everything will move faster than expected. Doors will open without effort. Opportunities will appear naturally. Clarity will come without struggle. And you will realize none of it came from forcing, but from alignment. So stay here a little longer. Stay still. Stay surrendered. Because what is being formed in you right now is preparing you for everything that is coming next.